Tyler the Dungeonologist here, ready to talk about playing this crazy game while your brain is going haywire. This is part 2 of our 3-part special, Game Day, where we explore how to stay on track on the big day. This part is called While We Play, and I'm going to focus on what I did during D&D, during the session, to tame the beast called ADHD that lives in my head. Maybe you don't have ADHD and you're just watching out of curiosity. This video may be helpful to you too. ADHD doesn't create new behaviors. It doesn't make someone an alien. It just emphasizes some behaviors and emotions over others, like most mental disorders. Anybody in the world is going to get distracted trying to DM or play or do anything else for 6 hours in a row. This isn't the stage where I decide whether the game was good or bad. That's going to be in the next video. Here, I'm just going to look at my own behavior and what was going on in my noggin when I was saying and doing the things that happened during the session. There were 5 processes that stuck out to me today. The first, obviously, was that's always tough. It's a pretty broad task. It can mean everything from being an active listener to just being ready to respond. One touchstone I use for staying focused is trying actively to be the last one to speak. After I tell the players what's going on, I just wait. The game is more engaging when you're reacting to things that your players say and do rather than the other way around, and it takes a lot of the pressure off of you, which is cool. Like I mentioned in the last video, I also had a sticky note on my monitor that just said, "Run the game." Every time I started to go on a tangent about whatever anime everyone is watching or how weird life is right now with all this COVID stuff, I looked at the sticky note, I tucked my conversation topic away for later, and I just pushed onward. Food and drink can keep me centered, but it's pretty easy to stumble into compulsive eating, so I just had a big glass of water nearby as something to interact with whenever I was feeling scatterbrained. The word drama can rub some folks the wrong way. A huge part of creating drama, just like staying focused, ties into active listening. It doesn't always mean tension between characters at the table, though that can be cool. It's something from the game world that is tethered to one or more party members, or vice versa, and it's creating tension. And that tension, if left unresolved, will have major consequences. Sometimes the best drama comes from these consequences, so don't be afraid to let it happen. You have to absorb pieces of information that you can assemble into a compelling narrative. If one character is looking for an artifact sacred to their priesthood, and your big bad has a phylactery, those two things are the same object. Your party just doesn't know it yet. Waiting for those pieces to fall together, filling in that empty space that you should be leaving during prep, is crucial. This is one of the many instances in which preparing less can help you find awesome moments alongside the party. Today, I feel like I listened well and connected some dots between the players and the game world. Right alongside creating drama, maintaining suspense once you create it is tough. If your villain is in the same city as the player characters, I, as a DM, want them to know that so I can see their reaction to it as soon as possible. I have to stop and ask myself which is better. Them learning it right now with no dramatic context, or them seeing it firsthand later on, being thrust into this high-stakes situation before the public with no chance to prepare? The answer is the second one. I've also been known to hold on to this sort of information until the players are distracted by replenishing snacks or side talk. Think of it like Doc Ock throwing a car at Peter Parker through a diner window. There were a couple of times something I said fell flat, or everyone was talking over another player. There was also a moment when I had planned for north, east, south, and west, and the players said, "Let's go up." Metaphorically, somewhat literally. I was fortunate enough to recognize many of these moments as they were happening and give a little instinctual nudge to get things back on track. Sometimes it's just moving on to the next thing with grace. Sometimes it's drawing attention to the person trying to be heard. It's important to stop, acknowledge the problem, and press on. If it's something I need to fix in the future, I'll make a little note in my D&D journal and I'll get back to running the game. For example, today we had someone using a new class feature that they had just gotten, and they were using it wrong, and it was creating some friction at the table, and they were disappointed when it didn't work the way that they thought it would. So I made a note in my journal that says, "Work with so-and-so to revise this class feature." What that will end up being later, I don't know, but my sole responsibility in the moment was acknowledging the problem, letting that player know that we'd find a common solution, and moving on. The toughest process for me, and one that stuck out to me in this game over Skype, is keeping everyone engaged. And all D&D is over Skype right now, so this is going to be a hurdle for all of us. That doesn't mean everyone needs to have a character voice and try to out-orate all the NPCs. It means I have visual and emotional cues that people are hearing what I'm saying and that they're willing to respond to it. There are people in my game besides me with ADHD or ADD, and there are certain behaviors that I look for in regards to that. I know that if player A is doodling while I talk, that they're probably listening better than if they were just sitting still. I know that if player B is asking a ton of questions, it's because they're trying to build a cohesive image in their mind, because what I'm saying would roll off of them otherwise. Taking the time to let each player say their piece and actually keeping a list of all the players on hand, even though these are people I've known for years, so I can remember to ask them what they think when something happens, helps me out a lot. Any given game might have a different set of processes and problems, but today those 5 things help me stay on track. If this video helped you, it would help me if you subscribe to my channel. If you think it could help someone else, be sure to share it on whatever platform they use the most. And if you want to see more content like this, or if you have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. I have a Patreon at patreon.com/dungeonologist. I'll also link it down below. Contributing there helps me boost the quality and quantity of these videos. Tune in Sundays for our Sunday morning divination, where I answer questions you all pose in the comments or through Twitter. Until next time, here's looking at you, kid.